Hello everyone, Ariam here, and welcome back to another episode of Cenozoic Spotlight. Today, we're talking about one tank of an armadillo, the Glyptodon. Like modern-day armadillos, Glyptodon would have been quadrupedal animals that mostly fed on grasses, and it was most famous for its large armored carapace, or that shell-like structure on its back that was made of combined and connected osteoderms, or bony plates. Unlike modern armadillos, however, Glyptodon was a South American megafauna. This was a tank. These animals could have been over 6 feet long and well over 800 pounds. You might be wondering why a mammal that big would need this kind of armor plating, but Glyptodon would have been pretty slow and pretty soft in the underbelly area. So it had to defend itself in the only way armadillos really know how, a bony shell plating. It's important to note that just because this animal is an extinct type of armadillo, Glyptodon would not have been able to retract its head and limbs into its little shell, tuck up in a ball like some other armadillos today. In fact, not even all modern armadillos can do this, but it is their most famous feature. The armor also makes more sense when you consider as a South American megafauna, this animal would have been the target of saber-toothed cats like Smilodon. I would want some heavy armor too if I was living in their territory. Even more so than the armored carapace on its back, Glyptodon had a tail that was very flexible and actually ringed in spikes. I'm sure that this could have and was used pretty often against any attacking predators, but it's believed that this spiked tail was actually mostly used against other members of its own species, usually by the males fighting each other during the breeding season to get access to females. One study even showed that their tails could have been powerful enough to crack each other's carapaces, meaning that if posturing wasn't enough to get another male to stand down, they would try to crack each other open like walnuts and leave the loser defenseless and bleeding. Not a great way to go in Smilodon territory. There were other giant armadillos in the Glyptodon family, but Glyptodon is one of the largest and one of the more famous examples. Regardless, all Glyptodonts, including Glyptodon, ended up going extinct fairly recently in evolutionary history. Around 12,000 years ago in the Americas, the late Pleistocene extinctions wiped out the vast majority of mammal megafauna, meaning that anything larger than 100 pounds pretty much was on the chopping block. Coincidentally, this also coincides with the first arrival of human beings in the Americas. And while it's not believed that human hunting was the sole reason for Glyptodon and other megafauna to go extinct, it has been shown that humans probably did hunt these animals. Several papers have even suggested that ancient humans would have hunted Glyptodon not only because it was slow, but because they could then use their armored carapace as a little hut. Either way, once most of the giant mammals of the Americas started going extinct, Glyptodon joined right with them. But it's important to remember that these extinctions didn't wipe out everything. Humans survived, along with a vast majority of the smaller mammal species that have continued to evolve into what we see in the Americas today. It's incredible to see that even after mass extinction events, wiping out entire types of animals, life can still find a way to thrive. And that should remind you to smile.